Hi, Chris and Obi here with our total recap, and we're going to start with his head. I used a 3/4 universal comb with the grain, all except for this little crown right here over his eyes. I took a 7F between his eyes. I took the juice on his shortest setting and cleaned up the lip. On his ears, I used the undercoat rake and got rid of a little bit of dead hair, but I used my clippers at the bottom, my juice, and then took my blending shears and softened it because his mom wants it to look more natural. I did use the 3/4 against on the chin because these doodles are always wet under here and they get very matted. I used the 3/4 with the grain on the body. Then I used my 18 tooth undercoat rake and pulled out some dead hair, okay? Then I went against the grain with the 1-inch comb on the body, and then for the third time I went over it with the 3/4 universal comb, then scissored any of the big hunks of hair that were sticking out. Then I finished it with the blending shear, okay? The legs were also done with the 3/4 universal comb, then I scissored over them, then blending shears as well, okay? The tail I pulled down to the hock, trimmed it about 1 inch below the hock. Then I lifted it all up, and anything that was hanging about, even with the rectum, I cut off. The base of the tail was done with blending shears so that when you hold the tail up, everything is clean, but it's not bald. All right, then pulled the tail out and just kind of blended. There was a big wad of hair between this cut and this cut, and I kind of trimmed it up and also did a little texturizing with my 26 tooth blender so that it looks more natural. The chest was done with a 1/2 inch universal comb because he has chest to his elbow. So I got rid of all that coat that just gets dirty and also very matted. If you have a heavier coated doodle and you want to prevent some matting, I highly recommend going down the inside of all 4 legs with the legs on the ground with a 1/2 inch universal comb so that you're shortening up the problem areas. Another thing that I would focus on are the ears. If you've got those super heavy doodle ears, take a 10 on the inside, and then whatever you use on the head, I would blend off the ears and trim them like a teddy bear to prevent matting, because when they get really matted and they've got that heavy coat, when you release that coat, they will end up a lot of times with hematomas and things like that. So be very careful when you've got the doodle with that super heavy coat. So that's it. Don't forget to use your undercoat rakes, universal comb, scissor, blenders. You're good to go. Thanks.